Hello there and welcome to Movie Intermission.
And with that, we've started. Hello, welcome. Like the robot said, this is a Movie Intermission, the podcast where we talk about, shocker, movies. Don't break that. Just put it in front of the door. So I like that this one is more off the cuff. All right, so we saw Promare, which is a Studio Trigger movie. We did not sit for the round table because someone did not want to sit for it, so, you know.
Well, problem is, like, we saw the only showing that was there was like a 7 o'clock showing.
Yeah.
And at 9, and we had work in the morning, so spending an extra, like, I don't know how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter because every time we see movies, we're like, all right, we're going to go home, right? Maybe like another hour and a half.
I went to bed immediately when I got back, so.
Yeah, I pretty much did the same.
I went to bed at 2 in the morning.
What were you doing?
Things like showering and whatnot.
No, so big. Things. And I won't be telling you what those things were.
Did any of them remind you of bleating cough?
No.
So Promare, Studio Trigger movie. I super enjoyed it. You can't do the gentlemanly, no, you first. I
didn't have a thought to say. So I was letting that say something.
Yeah, I was in that same position.
Wow, okay.
So
we want to give
I felt like the movie started off slow.
It did.
No, it started off fast, went down slow, and then kind of got its pacing back toward the third act.
Yeah,
I'd say
I'll
late
agree with
second
that.
act.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I guess the slow start would be like all the credits and the geometric shapes. Also, Studio Trigger likes to have themes. This theme was geometric shapes.
Mostly triangles.
A lot of triangles, a lot of squares. No circles, though.
It was mainly triangles. Like, the whole point was triangles.
Yeah, the fires were made out of triangles. The mechs were triangles and rectangles and stuff. So, I mean, I guess we can get the synopsis of it so people know what we're talking about. So, the movie Promare is about, I guess you could say it's about both Gallo and Leo.
Yes, they were the two main characters.
Yeah, so everyone else got, what, like 5 seconds of...
The supporting cast.
Everyone but the girl, Ina. She got pretty developed.
Did she, though?
The only characters
I mean, as developed as you could get as a side character. You know what I mean? Like,
so what's her development?
Her development was that
she found out what her sister was doing.
Yeah, she found out what her sister was doing, and she also has the hots for Gallo.
Yeah, but that wasn't development, because she kind of had the hots.
At the beginning.
She did. I mean...
Like, the most development was with Kay Forsyth, and I'm not actually the good guy.
Yeah, the supposed... I mean...
Do you want... I don't think we should do spoiler cast.
Not spoiler cast. I mean, we can get spoiler cast a little bit later for people who want that, but I mean, I guess it's not much of a spoiler because you meet him pretty early on. There's a guy named Kay Forsyth. If you watch Studio Trigger, minor spoiler, you know what's going to happen.
I mean, honestly, you really couldn't tell. They kind of played it to the chest.
They did,
like
but...
the was until, the guy you thought was evil is actually pretty good and tells the guy, hey, go ask questions to this guy.
Yeah, the old trope of, I'm not the bad guy, he's the bad guy. What?
Me? What about that guy over there?
So the whole premise is this guy named Gallo. What was his last name?
I just call him Gallo. I don't remember.
Whatever. Okay, Gallo. He works with a super firefighting group called Burning Rescue, and they start off the movie by taking down the leader and the 2 lieutenants of Mad Burnish. And Burnish are people who somehow can spontaneously create fire. It's very Fire Force-y, like in the beginning. But like once it started getting into it, it was like, yeah, it was very clearly different. And then you meet Mad Burnish's leader, Leo Fotia, and then you you figure some stuff out with him. We'll get in the spoiler.
The
cast
guy who
later.
looks like he should be a girl.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember seeing the trailers and being like, "Oh, she's pretty," and then watching the body come into frame. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, if you watch anything from Trigger, like Kill la Kill, Gurren Lagann, you'll see the character designs pretty much resemble other characters from their shows.
Darling in the Franxx.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Darling in the Franxx here.
No, we don't talk about the ending of it. We talk about everything else.
No, we just don't talk about it, period.
I can see flashbacks running through your head right now.
It kind of sucks, too, because, like, Gallo's equipment was, like, red and white.
Yeah.
Like Star Racer was.
Uh,
I thought it was more of an orange.
no, it was red and white.
Oh.
And the PTSD started kicking in.
Oh, no.
You sure it wasn't when, the girl was in the fighter, little rescue jet?
Yeah.
And her hunched over stance with her broken back?
You know it's Studio Trigger if one female, at least one female character is completely bent over and is also wearing a small top.
While piloting a vehicle.
Yes.
Let's add that in, because...
And the camera shot had to be right behind her, too.
Yeah.
It's great. Nobody was complaining. I wasn't complaining.
No, I mean, when you come to expect it,
Culture.
it's whatever. But beyond that, what were the best parts to you about Promare? To y'all?
Probably the opening, like, once you get past the explanation opening, the actual opening introduction of the characters, the final fight, and some of the explanation in the middle. Because they kind of go over stuff, but they don't drag it on too long.
Yeah.
I like all the action set pieces. Every single fight was, a joy to watch.
Yeah. They have a very unique sense of fighting style direction where it's very heavy, it's very very clashy, if that makes sense. I think one of my favorite scenes is when the two lieutenants get the fire vehicles and then Leo just like summons a chair and just sits in it and chills and watches for a little bit. And then you realize that's not his personality at all throughout the entire movie. It was just a weird flex at the beginning.
Yeah, it was a red herring to make you be like, oh yeah, this guy has to be the villain. Just look at him.
Look at that pose. Legs spread apart. Head on hand.
Black armor. Sharp edges.
I never got that with character designs where the feet are just pointy ends. How are you walking? How are you not cutting the ground as you take a step?
They're balancing.
It was a point, like a
Didn't
blade.
you see the One Piece movie with the dude with blades for feet because he cut them off?
Actually, I don't think I did.
You didn't watch Strong World?
No.
What?
I watched like half the movies, and after a while,
Man, we'll have to watch that one again and talk about it because Strong World is by far the best. Side note: Stampede is looking to be really good.
So you say Strong World, and I think of other anime titles like Tree of Might.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, I guess my favorite parts about Promare were definitely the fight scenes. I always love the big bold text that just somehow appears in the world, in the real world for them when they announce their names or whatever. And then the ending fight with how it comes about before we're not spoiler casting right quick, but yeah, the whole ending fight was really good. I would say one of the weaker parts definitely was having such a big cast of characters that don't really get to... I know it's a 2-hour movie, but it's like they took the time to focus on like 3-ish characters, and all the other characters you kind of forget are there until they show back up. And you're like, oh, that's right, they're firefighting team, not just one dude.
Would you prefer this to be an actual series other than a movie?
I could have seen this to be like a 2-hour like premiere of a show, because it definitely sets it up that way. But because it ends so quickly,
no, it ends.
I mean, it ends.
It ends.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I think it would have been a little better if it was like a mini series, like maybe 4 1-hour-long episodes. They could draw a few more things out.
No, you could just did like a standard 12-episode series.
Yeah, could have just been a one season series, which would have been fine. But I'm sure that the way it gets all explained, there's not like any real big threat other than the true villain. So it kind of would have been hard to explain like a whole series for this rather than just a 2-hour movie. But I mean,
well, that's what I was saying. Maybe like the 4-hour long specials or something like that.
yeah.
Because there isn't a lot to go into.
Something like Fooly Cooly, where it's like it's short and concise, but it tells a story.
Concise. Fooly Cooly was ambiguous as all hell.
I mean, concise in the sense of the storytelling. Like, I know there's a lot of questions, which is why they made 2 sequel series. But as far as like telling what the story they wanted to tell, I feel like they could have gone like Fooly Cooly style, like 6 episodes, maybe like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But a 2-hour movie, you know, it's like you're comparing apples and oranges. It's like, as much story as there is, it's like, would you rather have a movie or a little mini series? And I think the movie worked just fine. But yeah, I think having such a big cast when you only focus on like 2 or 3 characters, it's kind of hard to engage people. Because I know there's going to be the one person who's like, no, I didn't like any of the main characters. That random background character, though, is my love. And I love them forever.
I mean, Pizza Man was just making pizza.
I know. I felt so bad for him. I was like, he ain't bother nobody.
It was pizza time.
Yeah.
But I understand you have to have... He's in a fire team. He works in a team, but then introduces team.
I know. It's a team, but I felt like instead of just giving like a quick splash of their name, you know, a little bit more, but whatever. Then it would have turned into like a 3 or 3.5 hour movie.
Then you realize you start introducing 2 meat characters, and then it turns to Bleach.
I know. What my favorite thing about it was the end credits where they like name all the characters, and you're like, oh, that's what their name was again. Like that one lady that was with the ultimate bad guy. I'm like, why did she get a name splash? No one cared who she was.
Was her name like Blair or something?
Something like that.
All I know is she died in a fire, and I don't even remember which fire it was.
So many fires.
But yeah, and then like one of all the team members, I only know the personality of 3 of them. No, 4 if you count the mouse.
Vinny?
Yeah.
He's a mouse. That's his personality.
Well, no, he has more personality than the big guy because his personality was strong.
No, his personality was the black character.
The token black guy.
He has hat turned backwards. He was a big, strong black guy, which I'm like, it works for me.
Whatever. Go home and watch Cannon Busters.
The one we have our own one. Claim Cannon Busters and Samurai Champloo.
Any other weak or negative points for y'all?
I like the color palette of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because they were going from like a dark scene to a light scene, and the light scene was like, hey, this is the brightest scene in a dark room. It felt like my eyes were burning every so often. So
you talking about that cave scene?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The cave scene. Then hey, we're gonna be in the city now. Blinding white.
I know, it's like
Dark cave to white screen.
Whitest city.
White screen. Eyes and retina just burning out.
Yeah, there was a lot of like jarring. Like we're gonna go from this scene to this scene, and you're like, oh, okay, my brain needs to recover real quick.
This is one of those times where turning the lights off in the theater really shouldn't be done because anime is really known for, hey, you know how it's a dark scene? It'd be a shame if this light were to suddenly become 1,000 lumens and you're straight into your retinas.
On that same note, I didn't like the near like within like the late second, most of the third act, where like they kept like changing location, but it was like that rapid like change, like going between 2 images. I was like, I can't look at that because it hurts my eyes.
See, I think my one nitpick was, there's a lot of like anime using CG.
Yeah.
Some scenes weren't as smooth as I would like for the animation CG.
Yeah, there were a few spots where like something's falling down and it's a far out shot and it's a wide shot and you go, yep, that's CG. Then it zooms in on a character like that looks like it could be hand drawn, but it's CG. And then there'd be times where it's panning around and it's like they didn't put the right texture or effect on it. It's like, look at that 3D model and it's back to normal.
Yeah. There were some moments where I was like, oh man, this is like really giving me like Dragon Ball Fighter Z vibes with like how smooth it is. And then other times you were definitely like,
Oof.
that looks like it just turned into a bunch of cubes and broke apart from a distance.
Start flashing back to Beast Wars.
Oh my god. No, please. I gotta say, this was a pretty solid movie overall. Again, Studio Trigger, usually they knock it out of the park for the most part.
There's something for everybody for Trigger.
Yeah. I think that's why, like, their projects have been so different, despite how, like, similar they can be. Like, it's not Studio Trigger if someone doesn't pull out a drill of some kind, and you can bet your bottom dollar that someone pulled a drill out, or like the final fight,
or just pierce something with something sharp.
Yeah,
or just go to space.
Yeah,
yeah.
They always go to space. You can't not.
That's the action level for this movie. You start off here, starts working up, bigger action, and then how can we go higher? We're going to space.
Yeah, Trigger has its... would it be a cliche at this point?
I mean...
Or their own personal trope.
It's their own personal trope. It's like, it's not Studio Trigger if there's not, like, a drill or something getting pierced, and if they don't go to space, like, at the end.
Another nitpick I had was, like, the theme, Leo's theme.
He had a theme?
There was a song that kept playing every single time that
I was
he
about
did
to ask.
something.
I was about to ask the same thing. There was.
Every single time he was doing a big moment or something, it was like that female lyrical song.
I gotta
And they
be
played
honest.
it over and over again.
I don't
I'm
remember
like-
that at all.
And I'm like, really? Again?
I legit don't remember that.
Like, with Trigger, most of the time their music selection is pretty good. Like, really, that song's playing. Like, Kill la Kill had a great soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
But I don't remember any of the music from this movie.
Don't lose your way.
Yeah, I mean, like, I actually
Yeah,
downloaded
yeah.
that album, but, like, for this movie, it could have been playing with no music in the background.
This was what. Yeah,
noticed.
I have to say the fact that I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was the main thing for the movie that kept playing
I don't
throughout
remember
the movie.
That's what I was about to say. The fact that I don't even remember that shows that I didn't even realize this. A weak point for me has to be the music. This movie doesn't really. It has like one or two like really good songs, but for the most part, like you could be playing like smooth jazz in the background, and I wouldn't remember what it was, right?
Well, if it was something weird like that, I say weird because it wouldn't fit the tone, I'd probably remember because it was jarring.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, the music was written kind of like Marvel music. I don't remember any music they use except for the
main themes.
Yeah, the main theme.
Yeah, the Avengers theme.
But if you actually listen to their music, like, oh, this music is so background music, they could be played in an elevator and you wouldn't have known it was from Iron Man or whatever.
Yeah. Which, for some action scenes, that's not bad. You don't want to have, like, the greatest song ever playing in the middle of an action scene when you're paying attention to that.
Rules
but at the
of
same
Nature.
time... Huh?
Rules of Nature playing in the background.
When you've got, like...
Well, like,
I don't know. It's just for me, I have to agree. With Studio Trigger, they have incredible sound selection, and this movie, like, has a couple of them, but for the most part, I really couldn't tell you what the music was like. Other than...
but I mean, like,
High
with
Octane and-
My Hero's song for You Said Run,
Mhm.
that is not like, it doesn't have a lot of lyrics, but you know the song, and you want it behind something with an action scene.
Yeah.
Like, if that was behind an action scene, that'd be great. But this is just one of those, we had songs, if you notice it, great. If you didn't, you're not missing anything.
I guess that's something else that you could say, like, it maybe would have benefited better from having a miniseries, because, like, when you hear, like, whenever All Might shows up in My Hero, that song kicks in immediately. You recognize, the second you hear it, you're like, All Might's coming, I know it. But with this, it's
Same
like...
thing for All for One.
Oh yeah, All for One as well. But with this, since it's a 2-hour movie, there's not any really thing you can pinpoint on being like, oh yeah, I recognize that.
Except for people like me who listen to music and hear the same songs constantly being played. You're like, gosh, again, really?
Oh yeah.
It's a small nitpick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I said, the music still was great. I just, besides a couple that I can kind of like hear in my head, I couldn't tell you.
My biggest
One from
issue,
the other.
though, wasn't the movie. It was the people in the movie. People came in late and walked in front of us, and we saw the sub version.
Man, that's so frustrating.
So I'm trying to read the subtitles, and they're blocking out the view. I'm like,
I know.
Just leaning to the left,
I was
leaning to the
waiting.
right, like, get out of the way.
Which sucked, because they were, like, right to my left. So they weren't even in front of me, so I was reading the whole time. I was like, can you find your seats?
Turns out it wasn't even their seats.
And they started talking about it. It's like, if they don't shut up, it's not going to end well.
I will say, like, that was irritating, but thankfully not a lot was being said. There was, like, some moments of silence. So for me, it was just like, I just want to make sure I can read what's about to happen versus, like, I can't read anything.
Yeah, this is not a Shin Godzilla where, hey, we're going to have a paragraph of text on screen that's going to be up for 3 seconds. Read it now or forever hold your peace. Because that movie had some long subtitles.
Can you hit the pause button? No, we're in the theater. Okay.
You didn't catch those 2 paragraphs of dialogue? Too bad.
You should have just read the booklet. Is it a booklet?
You didn't get it when you walked in?
No.
I thought it was a pamphlet. I don't need that crap. Alright, do we want to get into spoilers now?
Yeah.
Alright, so spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't believe they got Spider-Man to be in this movie. No, all joking aside. The main villain is
the governor.
The governor of the city,
yeah.
Craig Forsyth.
Or Gov.
Yeah. I will say, one of my nitpicks, now that we're into spoilers, was his whole plan did not hinge on having Gallo be alive. Like, he spent most of his time trying to kill him, which to me is, like, so counterproductive.
He never said that. He said he wanted to put him in a position where he was far away from him.
Yeah, well, so he would also
back.
die. Like, he even says, like, you kept coming back instead of dying. So my thing is, like, if you want to turn yourself into this benevolent figure that is caring to even the lowliest of people, wouldn't you want to keep this guy around and be like, hey, this is my friend, and not send him into situations where you're like, I hope he dies today, and he keeps coming back? Like,
well, it's kind of it's a plot armor issue that you see a lot in movies where, hey, this is a hero, I want him to die, but I really won't do anything proactive to actually get him killed. I'll just do everything that should kill him, but it really won't.
How about the whole stupid plot about, hey, the magma under the earth?
Oh, yeah.
It's
that was weird to me.
Getting too wild. And we can't stop it. So what I'm going to do is I need to make a ship. It's going to be run off of these burnished people as the engine, and we're going to select the top 1% and find a new Earth in space. I'm like, Mass Effect Andromeda what?
And the biggest problem with that is this has been going on for 30 years. It's like, in the time it took you to build this ship, and they developed guns that can freeze people on contact, a weapon that literally absorbs heat to become colder. It's like, you could, and I don't even know how that one works. You couldn't, just, hey, we can find a way to freeze the planet or just something.
I thought it was weird, too, because it's like, because he started complaining about it. He's like, man, it's getting real bad right now. Let's keep experimenting on these people. It's just like, you can't put 2 and 2 together that you experimenting on the burnish is causing the issues with the Earth.
Well, it was toward the end when you found out that he knew.
Did he know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he told the chick, what's the difference between 6 months and now?
Oh, true, yeah.
And to add that, he was burnish.
So
yeah,
he was a
knew
burnish,
that
so.
he knew that it was going on.
He
He just wanted to leave the planet.
Yeah, I just love that. That was his whole motivation was, I don't like it here. Let's go somewhere else.
Now he's like, this place is going to blow up in 6 months. I don't really want to work on solving it, so...
I know. Instead of solving the issue, let's just create another problem.
So the whole thing was, it starts with, Gallo and his team coming to fire emergency. He takes down Leo and his 2 guys. Then you find out later on that Leo kind of wanted to get captured so he can save his people that were in this ice prison.
Yeah.
Weird. It's the whole icebox theme, and it... Honestly, I just kind of wonder about those guards, and hey, they're escaping. Let's drive a truck through this narrow hallway.
It's Studio Trigger. If they don't do something weird or crazy every so often, you'll be like, is this what this is supposed to be?
But I can see it on both of your faces, like, what?
Yeah.
When that happens, why are you doing this?
It was very much like, it's a mixture of I can't believe they're doing this, and well, it's Studio Trigger, so I'm so used to their crazy nonsense, and they're like, wouldn't it be awesome? I feel like half their ideas are someone going up to someone else and be like, wouldn't it be awesome if?
Like how all those people make Black Mirror episodes.
Pretty much.
Yo, dude, what if your dog was a toaster?
What if your clothing ate your blood and then you got weird skimpy armor that made you stronger? All right.
Yo, man, let me get another season.
Damn amount of ideas. That was the big one.
But yeah, and from the escaping the icebox prison, they go to a cave, which it looks like they burned the cave out because it was such a weird formation for a cave.
I don't know. I think it was just the stylization of the movie.
It was funny too because like the main Gallo had an altercation with the people. What's the name of that division? Ice.
Oh, Freeze Force.
Freeze
the
Force.
Freeze Force. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I need to go. I need to clear my head." And ironically, it was right where Leo and the fugitives were.
Yeah.
No, not ironically, conveniently.
It was Deus Ex Machina. So the way this movie ends, let's just skip to that. There's a lot of stuff in between. Like, Leo and his group go to near a volcano, but they get found out anyway because the plot demands that they must be found.
You forgot the scene where Leo told Gallo, "Hey,
oh yeah,
talk to the governor about how he's like treating my people." And Gallo actually goes to the governor and confronts him. The governor's like, "You know what? Let me show you exactly what I'm doing. Let's go out to my secret lab where I'm torturing all these people.
Let me not open my eyes with this eye scanner."
And then he asks him, "Do you believe? Do you like see what I'm doing?" And Gallo's like, "Yeah, but I can't stand for this." And then he comes out and says, "I knew you would say that, so I'm going to put you in a prison under my lab." Which I'm like, why even go through all this crap?
And then tell people that you tried to kill him, that Gallo tried to kill the governor. When everyone who knows, like, he wouldn't go and try and kill the governor.
He worships that man. I think what we were laughing most about is when he was in the prison and Ina's sister comes in. She's like the big brain scientist who like puts this all together. And she's like, she puts the food for him. She's like, and takes the cuffs off. She's like, "You're not the kind of person. Your sister told me you're not the kind of person who would attack someone like me."
Gallo says like, "Why would you like release these cuffs off me? You don't know what I'll do." And her response is, "My sister told me you're not the type of guy who would do that." And I'm like, if I was there in a heartbeat, I would have knocked her out and ran
out of there.
Or even taking her as hostage just to prevent getting shot.
That's true. I thought that was, we were laughing about that. Like, are you kidding me?
You don't even know the guy.
Slapped, locked up in there.
Your sister's word.
Your sister could be lying to you for all you know. You're lying to her. But yeah, so we get to the part where Leo is like all pissed off now, and he goes to try and kill the governor. And then Gallo shows up and he's like, "No!" And they go into the aforementioned giant. Did we mention it was a giant ice lake?
No.
Okay, so we went to go.
Gallo's place that he cools off is a giant frozen lake, and that's exactly where the cave is that Leo kept his people that he helped escape.
Yeah.
And then there's conveniently under that lake a giant laboratory.
Yeah.
Where an AI lives that used to be a guy named Deus Promare or Prometheus, one of the two.
I think it was like Prometheus.
Something close to Prometheus.
So basically, he's a scientist that worked with the governor.
And then the governor killed him
and took all of his knowledge to get to where he is right now.
Yeah. And of course, the best part about that, so
he made a giant weapon used to stop the governor's advances. And the name of this weapon is literally Deus Ex Machina.
And it even explains it as like Leo and Gallo are like, "How'd you know we would land there?" And the doctor was like, "I didn't. It was just lucky you guys did." And they're like, "Well, what would you have done if you had done the thing?" And then he's like, "Oh, I guess we'd all be dead, wouldn't we?" So quite literally and figuratively.
The whole theater popped for that scene.
Yes.
It was the greatest thing.
It was the best use of Deus Ex Machina. But I was going to say the other great thing that came out of it was, so when they were telling everybody, like, "No, the governor's evil," they play a quick GIF clip of him shooting the doctor
over on loop.
on
over
loop.
again.
And they don't even preface it with like.
It's like no context.
Yeah, because in the actual clip, they go on about how this equipment's too dangerous. I'm not going to release it to the world. And then the governor shoots the doctor. So they just take part of him shooting him and play that over. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, the doctor killed a man. Guess he's evil."
No, it's funny because like the scientist sister was like, "Oh, that's Dr. Deus. We thought he was gone for so many years." So like the scientists know who we are, and we're like, "Okay." So, but we didn't hear about him at all until like
Just
now.
3 minutes ago.
Wow, he got shot. That sucks. Yeah, so then the governor and Gallo and Leo in the Deus Ex Machina machine, which Gallo renamed he called it Leo the Galleon. They start fighting Cray Forsyth in his own mech, which has a bunch of like awesome yet strangely devastating terraforming weapons.
Yeah, and every weapon that came up was always like, this is going to be used for this terraforming project, like the genocide terraforming cannon.
Yeah.
And just weird stuff like that.
And like
The pile driving, what was it, water something?
it was like something else, like really mass destruction, like ice,
Yeah.
death beam ice cannon or something like that.
Yeah, giant pile driver spike cannon or something.
It's like, do you really want to terraform? You just want to kill people.
It's supposed to be like, we're supposed to be using this weapon to fix the new planet we get to. But I named it Genocide Terraforming Cannon, which I'm like, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, sure. I mean, screw the indigenous life forms, right?
Also, at this part that we found out that the Burnish are actually linked to these fire aliens from a different dimension.
Called
Yeah.
Promare, which is where that name of the movie comes from.
This is all at the end of the movie. This is all in third act.
Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna dump a whole bunch of information on y'all, so get out your textbooks.
Yeah, to go from... So, all powers are actually caused by people synchronizing with an alien life form from another dimension because a spatial time rift occurred, something like that.
Yeah.
And now these Promare aliens are stuck inside the planet, and as we agitate the Burnish, they get agitated, and that's where Earth would explode. And
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And to solve this whole problem, they had to actually burn
The planet.
the planet.
And punch it in space as a
So
giant robot.
so how they burned the planet was they took the heat.
There was a particular engine that the good doctor had made.
Yeah, so instead of forcibly using the Burnish to power the engine, they go, "Hey, help us do this thing." And all the Burnish are like, "Okay," and then they use their energy to power the engine, which makes the mech that Gallo and Leo are riding in massive. They go into space and then they punch the Earth.
No, you forgot. They
What?
shoot that fire energy at the sun.
Oh yeah, that's right. It goes to the entire galaxy.
Well, the entire solar system. at least.
Yeah, so it burns, it hits the sun shoots it back, burning every single planet in the universe. Went back into the actual mech, and he started punching the Earth
And people
to
on the
burn
Earth,
everything, like a giant wave of fire.
Yeah, and
And
somehow it's all okay.
and people on Earth are like, they're under the fist. They watch it hit the planet, and they're being thrown around. Then everything comes down to Earth is normal. It's like, I feel like I'm missing 42 steps in this one.
There's a lot that's very unexplained, but at the same time,
It was the best thing ever.
yeah,
And then
And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
yeah. Of course, you can't forget the homoerotic.
so earlier in the movie,
All I'll say about it is it clearly wasn't that, but someone behind us was like, "Oh yeah," and
Yeah.
we're just like, we almost were all like, turn around, like, what the no?
In my mind, like, this one's for the ladies.
so earlier in the movie, one of the Burnish was dying, and
It was Leo.
no, it was earlier in the movie.
Oh yeah, early in the movie.
So Leo had explained that the fire that's inside their body from the aliens can be used to restore their life because it keeps them alive indefinitely, apparently. And he was trying to breathe into that girl that fire.
Kind of like keeping a campfire lit.
I was
Yeah.
thinking more like really strange CPR without the heart presses. But she died. Then later in the movie, apparently Leo managed to give Gallo some of that fire. And Leo's dying, so Gallo takes the fire from his hand, puts it in his mouth, and breathes it into Leo. But The difference with those two scenes was when Leo did it to the girl, his mouth was a clear distance away from her because you could see the fire. With Gallo and Leo, it's like, you guys kissing there, or is like,
well, okay,
animate
so
that very well.
in the defense of it,
Hey,
he's a
listen here,
fire.
girl, there's no problem kissing the man you got in his life.
I was about to say, so in his defense of it, he's a firefighter, so of course, you know, man, woman, whatever, if they're doing CPR, they're going to breathe in their mouths.
I know, I get that.
But it was the staging of it where certain people were definitely like,
But not only that,
Why you think we made Leah look like a girl so much?
but it's just the fact that they
Go check your internet history after this.
they show it ahead. They show
the
this.
deviant artist will have a fun time with this one.
They set it up ahead of time, showing that he doesn't need to be that close. Then they just straight up put him like 3 times closer than necessary.
But it shows you how like Gallo is, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's gonna do it, he's gonna go all the way. He's a straight shooter, okay? Want me to kiss that man, save his life? Yo, man, you better open up. No fear.
Try not to choke on water. Oh, but
Oh my.
overall, Promare was a pretty fantastic movie. Definitely worth owning, I would say.
I'd say it's more of a watch.
I would say if you're a big like Studio Trigger fan or just a big anime
Isn't
fan
this
in
their
general.
first big movie?
Yeah.
It is their first big movie, but I'm saying if you're like one of those people that likes to collect stuff from a certain studio, I could say like, yeah, you definitely want to watch it, and if not just watch it, you want to own it as well. But it's definitely worth like a rent every so often just to watch something pretty cool. So if we were to give a score out of 10,
I'd say 7.5.
I'd give it like a 6.
I was gonna be the most generous and give it an 8.
I like the movie, but I can't really see myself,
Going out and watching it again.
yeah. If it's on, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to go out and look for it. Because it has that weird timing that it's coming out. It came out right when I'm really into Fire Force.
I know, that was the thing when I saw the trailer and the synopsis, I was like, this is very, very much like Fire Force. But I have to give it.
I'm super into Fire Force right now, so it's kind of like a bias. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like that story, because it has enough time to tell itself too.
Yeah, and honestly, when I saw the trailer for Promare and I heard Fire Force was coming out, I forgot the title of Promare. And
So you thought Promare was
yeah,
Fire?
like, oh cool, that show's out. And watch, like, this is not that show, but I'm digging this show.
Yeah. I will say, given I usually try to give the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure this movie was in the works for a while, and it just so happened that Fire Force was releasing, around the same time this movie was getting, finalized and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know what other to say than great minds must think alike.
Well, I mean, when you start like breaking apart the two, they only have one basic premise of similarity of people can use fire at will.
That's what I was saying, like,
But
earlier.
that's literally where it immediately splits.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like there's
also
a
fire people who deal with this type of stuff.
that's true.
Yeah, but the thing is, the people who in Fire Force, the people who can use the fire are fighting fires. In Promare, it's the people who are fighting the fires cannot use the fire.
Yeah.
That's where that splits stays.
Like I was saying earlier, it's very much like you kind of get the sense that the two are kind of similar, but very
I'm just
early
saying
on they split apart.
It's kind of like the whole Overwatch Battleborn thing.
Oh yeah,
The timing would have been better if Promare came out first.
yeah, and then
First,
Fire Force
or
comes
just
out.
after Fire Force had finished up and was a bit of a ways away.
Well,
Like,
even if it had released while Fire Force was still coming out, I feel like it's
It's
like the
perfect
two
over-
are different enough that you're not gonna confuse them. There's no way you could. Like, they're so different visually, storytelling wise, that it's whatever. But I will say, like, I think it would have done it a bit better to not be compared to Fire Force so early on, and it hadn't even come out yet.
Like I went in knowing that it's not Fire Force. I know that the story's not the same.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's kind of like this one's cool, but I like this a lot better.
Yeah. Fire Force is fantastic. We'll have to do just don't have a name for that yet,
series breakdown.
I guess.
A general discussion.
Yeah, just about anime in general. But I think that's going to be it for this movie intermission. So I've been Vandelous.
I've been the Forerunner.
Goodbye, friends. See you next time.